They will always tell you need to capture more demand, increase budgets, you're not covering your whole brand searches, etc. But at a certain level, this doesn't make any sense anymore. And you just reach like diminishing returns, how we call it.
The funny thing about data is you can manipulate data to say whatever you want to express your, like, to get your end goal across. But yeah, I do not miss those days when we were doing advertising and having to counsel the clients against the platform, where the platform is like, you have to spend more money. And you're like, no, we need to be better at spending the existing money. Honest Ecommerce is a weekly podcast where we interview direct-to-consumer brand founders and leaders to find out what it takes to start, grow, and scale an online business today. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honest Ecommerce. Today, I'm welcoming to the show Rima Mattok. She is the Director of Demand Generation at Taboola, and she's also driving the growth of their new performance product, Realize. Rima, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chase. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I guess at the top, let's quickly let folks know, if they're unaware of Taboola, what it is, the types of problems that Taboola is solving, and then quickly, what is the new product Realize, before we get into more of your background and what we want to talk about today.
Sure. So traditionally, Taboola was about native advertising. And since we launched our new product Realize, so we're actually more focused on performance advertising, giving advertisers, and especially in the e-com space, another platform they can utilize to scale and grow.
That's amazing. And I guess, how did you end up at Taboola? What was your career path to become the Director of Demand Gen?
So I started working with a few startups as a user engagement, CRM, and everything lifecycle, and was really excited with this to understand what drives users to take action. And as I joined Taboola, I also took over the role of demand generation because I felt that this was the actual missing part to drive new users and create that product fit to the user.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny how many pieces of the funnel you can really specialize in and just get really nerdy about, but they're all super important and they all kind of they have their place.
Definitely.
So now that you are kind of helping with the demand generation over Taboola, obviously you go on fun shows like this and you get to talk about all things, advertising and e-commerce. So we're recording this in the start of 2026. What do you think are going to be some of the biggest challenges e-commerce advertisers are going to be facing this year when it comes to scaling profitably?
So I think obviously the bottom line is weaker purchase power. We're an advertiser ourselves. We see this across the board with every platform. CPCs are rising on search. CPMs are rising on social platforms. Essentially, the purchase power just gets weaker. And with the same budget, advertisers these days, and especially in the e-com space where the competition is extremely high, I think it's just getting harder and harder to get those to even reach the right audience. And I'm not talking even about to actually drive those conversions.
It's unfortunate when things get more expensive, they never get cheaper. And, so cost per clicks are up, just advertising budgets in general. And, I think that there was a huge shift back during COVID and all the CPMs went up and they just stayed there.
Exactly. And I think that I actually don't think I know this for a fact because, again, we're an advertiser ourselves. We see CPMs go up year over year. And this especially gets more severe, let's say, on high demand season, right? And this is what e-commerce is about. Everyone wants to maximize their holiday sales, but the competition makes it really, really hard.
Yeah. Q4 and the big one, Christmas, was a couple weeks back. And I find myself consulting with dozens of brands throughout the year, and there's a lot of startups that we talk with, and I find that a lot of startups want to start and launch in Q4, and I don't know. I would love to hear your honest take on this, but I feel like that's like a really expensive time to start. Maybe just wait another quarter.
Definitely. This is the most expensive quarter in the year. And more than that, you gotta build momentum before the peak season, because again, it becomes crowded and it's hard to win the conversions, right? And you do have a certain threshold of CPAs or ROAS that you want to keep. So you gotta build or start building that demand and start and reach the right audience before the peak seasons.
Obviously, every situation's unique, every startup's unique. We get that. But, just some general advice to people that are about to, launch. It'd be like, maybe launch earlier. And it kind of goes to that whole idea of like, what was it, like 7 touch points that people need before they like know, like, and trust your product and they want to actually buy it. That old kind of advertising thought process there. But it's like, yeah, if you're launching in Q4 where it's super expensive against a million other ads, like you're probably not going to get the right amount of attention from the right customers that you want to like actually make it convert during that time. So would it be like launch a quarter earlier, like at the beginning of the year, get 3 months or 3 quarters of ramp? Like I don't know, what would your blanket recommendation be?
So I would recommend to start as early as Q1. Essentially, this is already a good quarter, lower CPCs, a little bit lower CPMs. You got to build that momentum. Everybody already are excited towards their 2026 plans. So I think that each momentum is a good momentum to capture demand, and entering the competition in high peak seasons won't be a smart idea.
Yeah. And this is going to come out in a couple of weeks. And so everyone listening to this, if you've got a product that you're about to take, just launch now, stand up a landing page, start that waiting list, and just start advertising now. Even if the product isn't going to be available for, a quarter or two, you can still drive awareness and start to acquire leads cheaply now, as opposed to paying. Would it be double, triple as you get towards the end of the year?
Yes, definitely. At least double, and in e-com space, it's even. It can just triplex and etc.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's also vertical dependent, and there's all sorts of goofy stuff that happens around with e-commerce. Oh, don't we love it? All right, pivoting a little bit. I love that we kind of dove in there and gave some advice on when to launch. If I'm launching a new brand or business, or I'm a marketer working at one that's like trying to grow it, what are some myths that you think are still permeating around in the market around performance marketing to try to help me be a better marketer?
So I would refer to the ones at least I'm hearing all the time. The first will be increase budget, capture demand. Essentially, if you're going to talk with your rep at let's say search or social, they will never tell you, okay, you hit a plateau at this point. The spending more is not efficient, right? You need to capture. They will always tell you need to capture more demand, increase budget. You're not covering your whole brand searches, etc. But at a certain level, this doesn't make any sense anymore, and you just reach like diminishing returns, how we call it.
Yeah, we don't do advertising anymore at our agency, but I remember every conversation, those reps, their job is to get you to increase spend, and it's kind of disingenuous. And like, honestly, there's got to be some sort of legal like thing around it. It's like that. It's got to be like, it's not real good advice. They're just telling you to spend more money. Because you spending more money on the platform makes the platform more money. Of course, they're going to say increase your budget.
Exactly.
And the funny thing about data is you can manipulate data to say whatever you want to express to get your end goal across. But yeah, I do not miss those days when we were doing advertising and having to counsel the clients against the platform, where the platform is like, you have to spend more money, and you're like, no, we need to be better at spending the existing money.
Exactly. No one will probably ever tell you, you know what, this doesn't make any sense.
Not from a platform perspective. That's
exactly
their job.
Yeah. We may do.
I was just going to ask, are there any other myths that come to mind?
Yeah, I think essentially also with the AI, so each platform now offers the AI algo, maybe Smart Plus, Advantage Plus, AI Max on search, etc.
Whatever they call it.
Yeah, whatever. And they just tell you, okay, trust the AI, go broad, everything will be okay. And it works to a certain point. It works on small scale tests. But if you do want to drive sustainable performance, these black box algos are just unpredictable. Essentially, you can rely on those and trust your whole performance and your metrics and drive the ROAS you're expecting from AI-driven or broad-driven strategies.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I read on LinkedIn earlier this week, and somebody was commenting about how a lot of the platforms, this was more kind of on the agency side of things and like being a service provider, but it was like a lot of the platforms, to an extent though, are getting a lot easier. It's like less about what they're clicking inside of the platform to like get the returns and more about the strategy, the creative. Like that is where agencies need to try to differentiate themselves and shine to create value for their clients, into 2026 and beyond, because it is getting harder to compete with the AIs, and especially on the testing and stuff like that.
Definitely, but it's also not always true. So I feel actually we have a team of expert campaign managers, and I feel at this point, and I'm happy to say that they're irreplaceable.
Oh yeah,
and this is a good thing. Because essentially the AI, it is nice. There are tests that are better than others, but it's not stable enough at this point.
Okay, so these advertisers, they have their job, they have their place. Hey everybody, just a quick reminder, please like this video and subscribe if you haven't. We're releasing interviews like this every week, so don't miss out. Now back to the interview. Okay, I do want to pivot though, because I only have you for so long. So where does a platform like Realize kind of fit into the market? Where is that going to help advertisers these days?
So I think that traditionally advertisers were relying on search and social. They've really built the foundations for performance marketing. And today that era has changed. So today, to drive actual incremental growth, you gotta just use a smarter media mix, right? You got to try new platforms. You got to expand your efforts. And this is where Realize comes in. It offers scale just as social does, but in a trusted environment. It does also have AI assistant to basically help you set up everything, just a few clicks and minutes, so the operational overhead will be lower and it won't take you a lot of time to scale. And of course, we have a team of experts that basically will take advertisers through and recommend them the best performance optimizations they should be getting.
So when people are advertising on, say, Meta, they're kind of advertising within that closed ecosystem of the solutions that they own, like Instagram, actual Facebook, et cetera. And then on Google, it's a lot of the search powered stuff. And then they get a little bit into display. So when you're talking about expanding your media mix and advertising through Realize, where are these ads going to be seen and by what type of customer?
So these ads will reach everyone in the open web. And this is the exact point. This is why it does drive incremental growth, because these are people on the open web in the format of premium publishers, premium sites, in various ad formats. So whether it's videos or DSPs and articles and etc. Anything to maximize conversions, I guess.
And so when you say like trusted publishers, I know this because we've partnered together on some stuff before. It's like getting ads on articles and et cetera on things like USA Today, Yahoo, CBS News, like really trusted platforms.
Really, really trusted platforms. And also these are direct integrations. So it's not a third-party data. It's not attribution that gets lost somewhere. It's actually quality data that tracks your performance
if I work for a brand or work with brands, I'm sure there's a lot of, advertising agencies that listen to this podcast. What would be like, some of those signs or leading indicators that this would be a good idea to experiment with? Is it like, the amount of money we're spending a month, or, the size of a brand? But where does it start to make sense for a brand to move into another channel like this?
Honestly, I think at least for those who are looking to grow essentially their performance, I'd recommend having at least maybe 10% of 10 grand to test additional platforms, regardless, to realize this is just healthy for your performance, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you're not testing and experimenting with new platforms and new ways to get in front of audiences, you'll never learn if there is some secret. It's not secret. It's really just some more performant avenue to acquire the right kinds of customers for your business. I've read it in multiple books, and a lot of experts will say there's a lot of growth that can be had with the traditional, avenues, search and social. But when TikTok first came around, people were seeing outsized gains by testing it and then doubling down until the market regulated itself. So it's always a good idea to start testing new things as they come out. Before we go here, though, as an advertiser yourself, do you have like a golden rule for building the most efficient revenue driving media mix?
Yes, I can share with you my secret sauce. So I think that the baseline will be the foundation for any performance marketing is to capture your brand and search demand, right? So this is basic. These are high intent users. You gotta invest in that. Next, a significant share of your budget should be going to reach quality users which are not in market yet, but you want to capture their demand. So that'll be social, that'll be realized in platforms like them. In addition, as I mentioned, you want to keep at least 10% of your budget for testing and trying out new platforms, because you never know which niche you can reach that will work, or even not a niche. Something will work. Something will drive incremental growth. And lastly, I would say that I love to have once a quarter one crazy test, which is the type of it's not going to work. And then either you get learnings or you get wins.
Yeah, the moonshot. You always got to try that.
Definitely. So I think the bottom line will be something like 40-40-10-10 split of the budget. It depends, of course, on the vertical, on the budget.
If I'm listening to this podcast and I think that Realize might be a good fit for either my brand or the brands that I'm working with, where should I go? What should I do?
Definitely. So go to justrealize.com, as simple as that. And you can sign up and give it a try. We have a team of experts that will pick new advertisers up and walk them through media performance plan to their success.
Absolutely. And that's REALIZE.com. We'll make sure to link to it in the show notes. Rima, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing all those amazing insights.
Thank you, Chase.